good afternoon, or good morning, or good evening, depending on wherever you are in the world. Carrie Pink, obviously. Saturday, the 17th of May. Hope you're all well, or as well as can be in these weird and wonderful times. I would ask you just to take the time to look at my community post, where I put a creator Rose Red's video regarding the hideous murder of a Mexican influencer shot live on TikTok. Her name is Valeria Marquez, only 23 years old, and live streaming. She had more than 113,000 followers on her platform. And as I say, she was broadcasting to her audience where the attack occurred. I have commented with Rose Red about this because it has highlighted another issue that seems to be popping up all over the world and is of huge concern with all these TikTokers, often young ones, being so vulnerable and so open to literally millions of people of whom they know nothing. Why would they? You know, when you are streaming, whether you're just recording like me or you're live streaming or whatever, you have your subscribers, your members, etc. But actually you really don't know who's watching, who never comments, never anything, and things that may be going through their minds. So, what happened to Valeria Marquez? Marquez was working inside Blossom the Beauty Lounge when the attack happened. In the video, she is sitting at a table holding a stuffed pink toy, a pig, and is heard saying, "He is coming." A man's voice in the background then asks, "Hi, are you Valeria?" To which she replied, "Yes." At that moment she turns off the microphone, and seconds later she is fatally shot. The man whose voice was previously heard is not visible in the video. According to reports, on the 15th of May, the man who shot her then hopped onto a motorbike and fled. And meanwhile on the video, which was still being streamed live tragically, Valeria is seen grabbing her chest and stomach before she collapses in her chair. Poor lady. She appeared to have been shot twice, with at least one bullet hitting her torso. And then the face of another woman briefly appears before the video ends. And you will note from the creator Rose Red that she's highlighted at this point. There was an earlier suspicion in the same video where Valeria revealed information that has set off speculation over events potentially, allegedly leading to her death. "Hey, what do you think happened to me?" she said. "I was doing some things today and Erica called me and said, 'Hey babe, they're bringing you something, and I don't know what, but they want to give it to you.' It is unclear who Erica is." I said, and I'm speaking as Valeria here, "Oh, I'll be there in about an hour." And the delivery guy said, "I better wait for her because it's really expensive." "Who's going to give me something?" she asks on the video. In the live stream, she said at another point, "Dude, they might have been about to kill me." It is unclear who she's referring to here, or what prompted her to say this. According to authorities, she was still in the chair, holding on to the stuffed pig when they arrived. The crime is now being investigated as the 8th femicide so far this month in Jalisco, Mexico. I know I will go into a little bit further about femicide briefly later on. Who was Valeria Marquez? According to local media, Valeria rose to fame on social media thanks to her content about beauty, lifestyle and entrepreneurship. She had more than 113 followers on TikTok, as I said, and at least 70,000 followers on Instagram. She owned the beauty salon, allegedly located in Zapopan, where she shared aesthetic tips and personal moments with her audience. This she opened in 2024. According to the publication El Financiero, in 2021 Marquez was crowned Miss Rostro, a local beauty contest which solidified her presence in the world of modelling and beauty. In addition to her professional career, she maintained a close relationship with her followers, openly sharing details about her personal life. One really concerning factor which I've started to look into, potentially, allegedly, etc., as we must say on YouTube, under the guidelines, is what do we know about femicide in Mexico? According to the latest data from the United Nations Economic Commission from Latin America and the Caribbean, Mexico shares the 4th highest femicide rate in the region, tied with Paraguay, Uruguay and Bolivia, at 1.3 deaths per 100,000 women as of 2023. The top 3 are Honduras, the Dominican Republic and Brazil. Jalisco is ranked 6th out of Mexico's 32 states, including Mexico City, for homicides, with 906 recorded there since the beginning of President Claudia Sheinbaum's term in October 2024, according to the data consultancy Research. This is just one research place. There are others, which I'm trying to look into. The United Nations says that about 10 women or girls are murdered every day in Mexico. According to AFP, Zapopan Mayor Juan Jose Frange stated that his office had no record of Marquez seeking assistance from authorities regarding any threats, and added that femicide is the worst thing. This homicide took place just days before another woman, a mayoral candidate in the state of Veracruz, was also shot dead during a live stream alongside 3 other people. So that was the first part of the research that I've been looking into, going back to the 15th of May, about possible thoughts on what might have happened to poor Valeria. And I've tried to look into it a bit further, and I will carry on with what I'm saying if it is of interest to you. I think it is of interest, really, and of concern, because whilst we are obviously talking about Mexico here, mainly, it's actually not foreign, as it were, to other countries, but obviously some are worse than others, depending on the climate, as it were, of the country. Now, by climate, I don't mean weather. I mean political climate, economic climate, crime, etc., allegedly. According to the Latin Times on May the 16th, 2025, regarding Valeria Marquez's murder, there has been a little bit more potential alleged information, as again Rose Red pointed out, that a friend of Valeria Marquez might possibly, allegedly, be part of a role in this crime. The person's name is Vivian de la Torre, and by saying her name, I'm not accusing her. It is just an allegation according to research purposes, and not my opinion. She has not been formally named as a suspect, but followers of Marquez noticed that she insisted that she stayed in the beauty salon with Valeria minutes before the attack, even though she was talking about leaving. De la Torre rejected the accusation, saying, "We never imagined what was going to happen. Valet received gifts frequently, many times, while streaming live. Valet was like a sister to me." The Jalisco Prosecutor's Office issued a statement to clarify there are no formal suspects at the time, specifically rejecting Vivian de la Torre as being investigated. Again, these are not my opinions. These are coming from research and sources, and this one is the Latin Times. Within the statement comes from the Mexican outlet Milenio that a man known as El Doble A or El Tripe is believed to be the prime suspect in the homicide. Milenio added that authorities identified the suspect as Ricardo Ruiz Velasco, believed to be a high-ranking member of the cartel Jalisco Nueva Generación, or CJNG, operating in the city of Zapopan. It added that he had been involved in a romantic relationship with Valeria Marquez for months, and frequently became enraged over expensive gifts that she received from her followers. So according to Pariva.com, a Spanish news channel, but translated into English, we are talking about potentially somebody called El Doble A, leader of the CJNG's elite group, being allegedly the suspect in the murder of influencer Valeria Marquez. Apparently, and according to sources and research, he and Valeria had been in a romantic relationship before her homicide. And they believe, as I say, that he is responsible in some form or another for this homicide. He is the leader and waging a bloody war against the Santa Rosa de Lima cartel in Guanajuato. You'll have to forgive my accent. I'm not fluent. Apparently, according to Pariva.com, this is not the first case in which his name has been linked to the murder of a woman. In 2012, he participated in the murder of Venezuelan Daisy Ferrer Arenas, whose body was found in a sewage canal on the streets of the Oblatos neighborhood in Guadalajara. He is also implicated in the murder of Juan Luis Leganos, known as El Pirata del Culiacán. So obviously we go back to also the other issue of whether the friend of Valeria is possibly connected, and that has yet to be properly investigated, and hopefully it will be. I'm trying to do some more research daily as I go, just to see what I can dig out and find. One of the issues that kind of drew me in as well when I was doing some research, and I'm only in the early stages of it, as it were, especially because of this case, was written about by journalist Awa Mahadawi. And she's talking about femicide and the issues in femicide, because this is a massive issue. Femicide is defined as the intentional killing of a woman or girl with gender-related motivations. And I know that probably seems fairly obvious, but it's always useful to give the definition. Whilst it's a universal and age-old issue, it's poorly understood. It is also sometimes willfully misunderstood by some men's rights activists who like to argue that it's a non-existent problem because men make up the majority of victims and perpetrators of homicide. So it's worth spelling out the parameters of femicide. If a woman is killed in a robbery gone wrong, that's probably, brackets, not femicide. If she's killed by an ex-boyfriend who views women as the property of men rather than autonomous human beings, that is femicide. Honour-related killings are also obviously femicide. I say honour-related in quotes because it's a hideous term, and basically it's murder on a woman for not doing as a culture would like, shall we say. Just my opinion. Many victims of femicide still go unaccounted for. Roughly 4 in 10 intentional murders of women and girls. We have not enough information to identify them as gender-related killings because of national variations in criminal justice recording and investigation practices. There's an organisation called UN Women who wrote a report last year, which is very interesting. So according to the UN Women organisation, an organisation for all women and girls, 5 essential facts to know about femicide. This was done in November 2024. So, okay, it's about a year earlier, but it's still relative. Every 10 minutes, partners and family members killed a woman intentionally in 2023. Gender-related killings, feminicide, are the most brutal and extreme manifestations of violence against women and girls. The latest report, and we're talking 2024 here, from the UN Office of Drugs and Crime and UN Women, released on the International Day for the Elimination of Violence Against Women and the start of the 16 days of activism against gender-based violence, shows that femicide is rising around the world. Whilst there has been growing awareness and public outcry against these killings, much more needs to be done to prevent violence against women, stopping its escalation, provide adequate services to survivors and punish perpetrators. Femicide, or feminicide, as it is referred to in some contexts, is defined as an intentional killing with a gender-related motivation. It is different from homicide, where the motivation may not be gender-related. Femicide is driven by discrimination against women and girls, unequal power relations, gender stereotypes, or harmful social norms. It is the most extreme and brutal manifestation of violence against women and girls, which occurs on a continuum of multiple and related forms of violence at home, in workplaces, schools, or public spaces, including intimate partner violence, sexual harassment, and other forms of sexual violence, harmful practices and trafficking. Women and girls are most likely to be killed by those closest to them. I think, unfortunately, a lot of us know this, a lot of us know about these situations, but I'm just going to highlight these points from the UN Women Org. In 2023, around 51,100 women and girls worldwide were killed by their intimate partners or other family members, including fathers, mothers, uncles and brothers. This means on average 140 women or girls are killed every day by someone in their own family. Current and former intimate partners are by far the most likely perpetrators of femicide, accounting for an average of 60% of all intimate partner and family-related killings. In many cases, only gender-related killings perpetrated by an intimate partner or family member are counted as femicide, yet we know that gender-related killings take place in many contexts beyond the private sphere. They can be related to rape or sexual violence by someone unknown to the victim, linked to harmful practices such as female genital mutilation or so-called honour killings, a result of hate crimes linked to sexual orientation or gender identity, or connected with armed conflict gangs, human trafficking, and other forms of organised crime. So in finishing, what I need to add is that all opinions, research, facts that I have talked about within this upload are not my own. They are for research purposes and must be taken as that. And they are under fair use and terms of service. Take care. Carrie Pink.